Hello, it's Lucy from Nonny Buttons Crafts, and I made this little paper craft picture frame. I'm really sorry about the light today, so make it a bit brighter. I made this one on my Silhouette machine, but I'm going to show you how to make something kind of similar using my Big Shot. So that's the die cutting machine, and I will talk to you more about die cutting machines, so don't panic if you don't really know much about them. So let's take this apart. This box frame was, I think it was about £3, £3.50 from Hobbycraft, and they come in lots of different sizes. And the idea with a box frame is that you can have something 3D in it. So with this one, I've just got the butterfly slightly raised. But this one we're going to make now, let's move that right out of the way so that I don't break it as it is glass. Okay, so we're going to, what you have to do is just measure the base so that your piece of cardstock, and I would use card, or extremely, if you've got a pattern paper, something really, really heavy, so make sure that fits. So this one was a 6 by 6, I'm not sure actually, but anyway, yeah, whatever one you get, so you could get a really tiny one if you wanted that, which is fine. And then I'm going to use a doily, and this doily was from The Works. I can't remember the original collection that it's from, but it was about £1 for absolutely loads of them, absolutely loads. So just going to plan what you want. You might change your mind as you go along. So how you use your dies. Right, if you're not very familiar with dies, you can get joined up one that actually says birthday. So if you want joined up writing, obviously if you wanted to put somebody's name, probably not going to get a joined up die. That will come one day, but not at the moment. For the name, you're going to get sayings like there's a Merry Christmas one. Whoops. And you're also going to get, I've seen some like fabulous and sort of quotes that people use quite often, words rather, that people use quite often. So you might be able to use them. Or you can get an alphabet die. Now I've only got one alphabet die, and this is an X-cut one, and it was about £9 I think. You can buy letters individually, you can buy loads of different fonts. Sorry, my dog in the background with a piece of paper. You can buy loads of different fonts, so if you want sort of more curvy writing or something, you can do that, and you can buy the individual letters. So that's the only trouble with this one, is it's quite, you've got to cut the whole piece out, or you've got to layer the letters you want it. So I wanted to use a die set that I had, and I thought I'd use this cups and kettle framelit dies. Now if you've got butterflies, you can use butterflies, whatever you want, but for this one I wanted to use the teapot die. So I'll show you, that's the teapot die. And what I've done is I've taken some quite weighty cards, so I don't suppose it would really matter. And let's just move my Big Shot into the picture so you can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to line this open and pop. So you pop your paper on the less like an acrylic sheet, and then you pop one on top and you roll it through. So all your different machines, line it up properly, work differently, but this is just for this one. So because I was using a teapot, I think, what was the saying I worked out I'd have? Let's have a look. Always time for tea. That's what I was going to do, always time for tea. And because it's an alphabet die, I'm able to say any word I want, really. So with this teapot, you get the base and the top. And this is an old Stampin' Up! Retired set. There are loads of teapot dies out there. So if you want to do something similar, that's fine. You've just got to think of a quote, or I suppose it could be happy birthday, whatever you want, that goes with the dies that you've got. But because I've got a cutting machine, I don't use that many dies, to be honest. Let's just push this out of the way a moment. So we're going to use some these doilies are really, really thin. You have to be really careful with them. So I'm using Anita's tacky glue and I'm just blobbing it onto the parts so that they're going to stick well enough and that they're not going to come up. But you don't want to, if you glue blobs are too big and thick, they'll squidge through and leave a gluey sort of mark, or they'll like bobble underneath because this is so thin. If you have, I was trying to think what you could do to make your frame with, what you could use that you might already have. And if you had hearts, you could do a Valentine's one, that'd be really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that down. And my plan is, I think, to put the teapot die on with this lid. And I also cut a cup as well, because this one came with a cup. There's can you see that little tiny cup? And so this is not the most exciting thing in the world, but I still think it's going to be quite cute. And there's a like smoke heart in it as well. So I think by the time we put the words around it, it should be quite sweet. All you've got to remember is with these frames is there's a slight border, very slight, so we don't want to put anything too near the bottom. So we'll start sticking those on and then we'll work on the words. So you can buy X-Cut do some amazing dies that are like a butterfly that's about £2.50. It's quite similar to the one that I used. And if you could get, you can even buy some die cuts like ready done for you, so that if you really wanted to make one of these frames and you didn't want to buy a cutting machine, you'd still be able to do that. Would still be an option for you. So again, just Anita's tacky glue, a little bit around the edge, and then the smoke coming up out of it. So you've just got to match your phrase to the dies you have, really. And then this is a really, really hard bit, and I'm just going to move my cutting machine out of the way a minute. So now we've got to put the letters on so that they look kind of straight. And that's just what I pre-cut these, otherwise you'd be waiting ages for me. So it should be capital A. Ooh. And it is a good idea to make sure you've got them all before you even begin cutting. Before you begin sticking. Always. Always. Time. It's the tiny dot. So it's a bit fiddly, I'm afraid. Even it was fiddly, even though I cut the other one on the machine, it was still fiddly. Oh no, that's not right. Always. And I've used glitter. Use some glitter for this one. Time. Is that the eye? That doesn't look right. No, that wasn't the eye. I knew it wasn't. Always time. 4. I know what I had to do. I had to cut the E, so just so that I can show you. In fact, there isn't even an E on there, so it looks like we need 2 E's. Always time. 4. No, make sure there's none left. Okay, so we need to cut 2 E's. So you get to see how that works. Let's bring the big shot back. And try not to move and squish my work. Okay, so how I cut these, I didn't want to cut out the whole alphabet. If you were doing a massive sentence, then you might as well just cut the whole alphabet out, because you'll only waste a few. But because I didn't want to waste too many, I didn't do that. So let's try and make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to flip off a tiny bit of card, just 2 bits that will make 2 E's for me. And then on the die, the E is here. See where my thumb is? So I'm just going to lay that on top. And then let's put it on my board. Put the lid on and run it through. And that should give us a nice E, hopefully. So it goes. And let's come back this way so it's easier. Let's see, did that give us a nice E? Yep. Okay, and it's just going to pop out. Always times 40. So we just want one more, didn't we? Another E. So it really actually doesn't take that long to do. You could put several pieces on at once if you wanted to. Times 40. Let's put that one on there. Now, so I wish there was like a magic wisdom for making sure you line your words up straight. You could use a ruler. Where did I just put that E to? There. You could use a ruler. Oh, actually, I'm not sure that's cut very well, is it? Yeah. I'm going to use a cutting mat only because it's got some lines on it. So that's going to help me. It's not going to make it perfect, it's going to help me. If you make sure that you can see a line on either side, that is really, really helpful. And you can always use the ruler as well to try and help you. You could draw the lines on, but I'm not going to. So remember there's a bit of an edge around the frame. Let's move it so I'm a little bit more in so you can see them. So I haven't planned out where I'm going to put these, and that would be a really useful thing to do. We haven't got a massive amount of space. Oh, we could go round. Should we go round? Yeah, let's go round. Always. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, I don't plan out too much. I just generally go for it. So I'm just popping the middle of the A out. So with this, I'm just going to pop the glue. Very careful little tiny dots, hopefully. If there's too much, I just might use my finger to split them off a bit. And remember, with Anita's tacky glue, you get a little bit of leeway, a little bit of time if you do go wrong, so you can move it around a little bit if you need to. So I'm just going to pause while I do that, so that you're not waiting forever. Okay, so that's done. I'm just putting the last one on, which is T. So let's hold this up so you can see it there. Always time for tea. Quite simple, but still quite cute. So let's try that in the frame and see how it looks. Once you open these frames, it's quite easy to see how it actually works. So you could put someone's name on to make this really personal. Okay, try and get that in the light better so you can see. That's not very helpful, is it? Always time for tea. Yeah, I quite like that. That's really sweet, and that was quite easy to make. And I quite like that the words are a little bit wonky as well. That's kind of sweet. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope that was helpful to you. Take care and do check back again soon. Bye!